was in distress, but my change has come. And God give I strength to rise again and find my place. He called me friend. The struggle's real and the dirty tough. So many told me I was not enough, but in my God I find my strength. Every breath I sing and say, I will rise, I will rise. I will rise, I will rise. Mount up on eagle's wings, I will rise, I will rise, I will rise.
So there were days when giving up thought in my mind, but I won't give up. I gotta get up and fight. Oh God, give me the strength, not letting go. I'm holding on to the end. The righteous fall 7 times, but rise again. God won't for me again. Lord, I know that you love me. Show me your ways, please go before me.
I will rise, I will rise. I will rise.
Mount up on
eagle's wings. I will rise. I will rise. I will rise. I will rise. I will rise.
Mount up on eagle's
wings. I will rise. I will rise. Mount up on eagle's wings. I will rise. My change has come. He called me friend. My season of overflow, my God is saying,
Lord, you renewed my mind, you transformed my life. Those chains are broken, and I will rise.
I will rise.
Me took the storm,
I will rise.
Mount up on eagle's
wings. I will rise.
I will rise.
Mount up on eagle's wings. I will rise. I will rise.
Come to the storm.
I will rise.
Mount up,
I will rise.
mount up on eagle's
Mount up on eagle's wings. He said, hold on, ow, ow, ow. And he said, hold on, ow, ow, ow. Whoa, why? Lord of mercy. I stumble through the years, yeah, with tears in my eyes. I know my storm's not over, but my battles will be won. I've been this place before, yeah. This is my threshing floor. My shame may be battered, but I know my alcohol. Getting weary, journey so long, but I'ma hold on. I'ma hold strong. Use my faith to move the mountain. Pray till something happens. I am not leaving, till you bless me, Lord. I am not leaving, till you bless me, Lord. I'm after your heart, not your hands, Lord. I'm available for your blood. You can use me for your glory. Here to tell your story, even though I'm not worthy of now. Anywhere that you send me, I go. From the hills into the valleys, from the churches to the street. Me, I got dream, but I'm getting we are. Journey so long, I'm a hold on, I'm a hold strong. Use my faith and move a mountain. Pray till something happens. I am leaving, till you bless me, Lord. I am not leaving, till you bless me, Lord. If you don't send me, I won't go. Where you lead, Lord, I'll follow. On my knees, that's where I go. For my open doors. Won't let go till you bless me like Jacob. I'm desperate, Lord, please fix my focus. When trials of life overtake us, you never leave no eyes. I know my storm's not over, but my battles will be won. I've been this place before, yeah. This is my threshing floor. My shame may be battered, but I know my alcohol. Yeah, getting weary, journey so long, but I'ma hold on. I'ma hold strong. Use my faith to move the mountain. Pray till something happens. I am not leaving till you bless me, Lord. I am not leaving till you bless me, Lord. I am not leaving till you bless me, Lord. I am not leaving.
Indeed, indeed. I am not leaving until you bless me, Lord. What to say, pleasant good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you are. I want to thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Riveting Relationship Talk, Sexual Matters. And we're going to be continuing on the topic the effects of pornography in marriage. Is it demonic? I'm telling you, there's so much to discuss on this topic. But before we do that, let me give you a message.
Just not proud of the daddy CEO. Embrace the promise. Saturday, April 16, Philadelphia. Let me tell you something. Remember, you see when we step up on the ground. Dr. KJ, we just want to tell Satan one thing. Jesus bigger than you, your mama, your papa, your picnic them, your grandson. Please catch a fire and burn down.
And that's exactly what we want the devil to know, that Jesus is bigger than my mother and father. If him have one, by the way, and what everybody him have has to say. All right, so welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to be playing the ads for you a little later on. All right, so if you're joining us, welcome, my passion. Welcome, welcome, Anonymous. Welcome, Minister Kimika, DJ Giovanni. Welcome, everyone over on the Facebook page. I am not yet able to see you, but I know you're there. Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome to Quesson Brown, the man behind the scene. I'm telling you, it's been 2 rough weeks that just passed. 2 rough weeks. But guess what? There are times when we have our moments, yeah? And I always tell people when we come upon these moments, we are to use them to grow, use them to strengthen ourselves. All right. Sometimes we stress out over it, but I always convince myself, by reminding myself that stressing over it ain't gonna fix it. There's always a solution to every problem. Once we give it to God, there is a solution. So, whatever you're going through, welcome, welcome, Pastor Curry. Good to see you this evening. We'll be having a very lively discussion. We promise you, we're not going to be with you very long. I know a lot of persons are very busy, and we don't take it for granted that you have spent and you continue to spend some of your time with us. It means so much to us. We thank you. There are so many things going on YouTube, Facebook, on the TV, on the radio, everywhere, but you have chosen to spend a little of your time with us. And we thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of the family. All right. I want to say welcome to Pastor G, my very good friend, Pastor John Gilbert. My brother, how are you?
I am fine, man. I'm fine, man. It's good to see you again. Good to be back here with you again, and thank you for the opportunity and the privilege to sit with you and talk about this issue of the effects of pornography in the homes, in the family. You know.
Pastor G, we spoke this morning. We had a very good interview this morning, and everyone, Maxine Gently, welcome, my sister, and everyone joining us in Fancy Reedy, and everyone joining us in Trinidad and Tobago, and also in Nigeria. We want to welcome you at this time in England, wherever you are. Thank you so much for being a part of us this evening. Just so you know, we're going live in Trinidad and Tobago.
as well, and we are grateful to God for that. Pastor G, this morning we had a very good conversation on your program. It was awesome. It was, wonderful. I really thank you for the opportunity. But you shared something, Pastor Kelly. Happy birthday to you, my brother. Yes,
Mm.
man. Happy birthday to you, bro. Go and eat some food. All right. I know Minister Kimmy can take good care of you. All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Pastor G, you shared a testimony with me, with us this morning, and it resonated with me so much. And we spoke of the goodness of God. If you don't mind, I don't mind you sharing it with our listeners, so they can be encouraged and they can be motivated a difficult time that they might be going through in their lives. Do you mind sharing
It
with us,
was
sir?
Well, no, I don't mind at all. I share some of it, so don't take up too much of your time. But a big part of me has always been searching for me, trying to figure out purpose and destiny. And that's something very important to me. You know what I mean? And then looking for myself. So it came a time that I wasn't working. Had a bunch of friends that was in the narcotics business, selling drugs, doing all that stuff along the line. I know we were friends, but I wasn't involved in it. But then one day, one of them said, "Look at you! You're always working hard, trying to do, trying to do, and now look at you got laid off your job. You don't have no job and everything along the line, And so I got hooked up into that stuff and started, transporting. I mean, importing, transporting, conducting a criminal enterprise from Arizona to New York. I mean, selling marijuana across the states and the airways and airlines and driving cars and all that stuff across the state, taking marijuana up to New York. But eventually, a friend of mine's got arrested, and then he turned informant, told the officers, and eventually they set up a whole sting, and I got arrested, and from that, receive a 10.5 sentence, had to serve 7.5 years of that sentence, before I was eligible for parole. Now, mind this, I grew up in the church. I grew up in the church from a very young boy, but then evidently growing up in the church at the time, we used to hear everything was sin. So I didn't know about relationship with God and what all that stuff meant and everything along the line. I'm living isn't me. You know what I mean? I sort of did the Michael Jackson song thing. I took a look in the mirror and I had to make a change because I didn't like what I saw. I didn't like the man who I was. This man that was just involved in this drug business. Because mind this, I was in prison and still changed. Let all the guys in prison know. Listen, I'm done. They said to me, "Oh, you came to prison to find jailhouse religion." I said, "No, I don't care if I was sitting in that toilet over there. I'm going back to church." And that was my journey back to church. And from there, God just started to do marvelous things in my life. And so here I am today under the blessings and the goodness of God, for all that He has done for me, all that He has seen me through. I've seen friends died. I've seen friends got deported. All along this line, and by the grace of God, I'm here. I was subject to get deported, me, but there was a little law that says that if you was naturalized before, if your father was naturalized before you was 18, or anyone of your parents, then that makes you a citizen of the United States. I still had a green card. I was one of them stubborn young men. And even though immigration told me to get rid of the green card after they released me, I wouldn't get rid of it. I would travel with it everywhere. And one day I was coming to the airport as a pastor now as a pastor. And the officer called me. He says, "Pastor Gilbert, come here." And he says, I said, "What?" He said, "Give me that green card." And he took it and he cut it up. He says, "Now go get your U.S. passport. We're sick and tired of you." I mean, doing these things. And that's what gave me the United States of America passport, because I couldn't travel no more. I would get an invitation to go preach. I couldn't go nowhere, so I had to go get my passport. But by the grace of God, here I am, being blessed. I just love serving the Lord now. I just love serving the Lord. Yeah.
You see, I asked you to share your story, Pastor, so that others can be encouraged and realize that, sometimes we feel like, whatever happened to us or whatever we go through is the end of life for us.
Yes.
But God just has a unique way of turning things around. I want to welcome my
Amen.
brother Fitzroy Jackson and
Yeah.
my sister Marlene Cross. Welcome, 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 welcome. It is just amazing. And look at you today. You're here having spent some time in prison. You found Christ there. and you are ministering all over the world. You are in every corner of this earth, spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ. Isn't God amazing?
God's amazing, Dr. KJ. God's amazing. As a matter of fact, there's a message that I preach. I titled it "But God," and the whole thing is that what does God do with the evil that's being done? And I was sharing with people in the church that what God does, He steps into the evil that's being done and He turns it around for good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
As He said with Joseph and his brothers. Joseph said, "Listen, you intended it for evil, but God intended it for good."
intended it
And
good.
I realized that's what God does with our evil, is that He steps into it and He brings salvation. He steps into our evil and He brings deliverance. You know what I mean? He steps into evil and He shows His grace and His mercy. When you should have been dead, you're not dead. You know what I mean? He steps into the evil and He turns it into our good. Too many people are missing the goodness of God because they don't realize that His faithfulness and His promise, "I'll never leave you, never forsake you. I'm always there with you." I may not recognize Him, but I've come to grow and realize that God steps into the evil that we intend for evil and turns it around for our good because He knows He has purpose and destiny for us in our lives.
God is such an awesome God, my brother. You have such a
Yeah.
powerful testimony. My brother Hakeem Stewart, welcome. You have your testimony blew me away this morning. It really blew me away. And, I am glad that you were willing to share it with our listeners. If you're just joining us, welcome. We're going to jump into the topic, the effects of pornography in the marriage. Is it demonic? Last week we had Dr. Carla Dunbar hosted the show for us, and we give her a big, big round of applause and a big thank you for such a marvelous job. Yes, sir. I love that. I love that. And Pastor G was on last week, and Pastor Kelly. I thank you so much. Pastor G, I last week while the show was going on, the reason why I was absent, I was in Las Vegas, right? I went for a meeting and to meet some folks. Hi, Vivian Jarrett, how you doing? And I was just happening, passing, the hotel I was staying. I was just passing in an area, and I saw a table, America's Got Talent. And, just being curious, I went over and picked a conversation with one of the gentlemen. And the gentleman introduced himself to me as a promoter, the producer for the show. And, I just was there talking and talking. And, he said, I like you. I like your attitude. I like your personality. And I was joking when I asked them, can I enter the competition or something? They said, well, the time would have passed, but because I like you, I can squeeze you in. And I did that. And I mean, I just went, did my thing, and man, the next thing I know, I'm getting phone calls that I need to come to the next round, So
Wow, wow, wow.
I mean, and then I just wondered, God has a funny way of elevating people too, you see. So I'm just seeing what he's doing, and
Yeah.
I just ask everyone to pray for me that I'll win this thing. And so we take the gospel to a higher level because that's a very big
Amen.
platform. So
Amen.
yeah,
Amen.
and
That's
I'm
right.
actually
That's
going in
right.
with gospel. I'm actually going in with gospel, maybe a little inspirational song, because I
Uh,
actually entered with "Wind Beneath My Wings."
uh,
By the way, so I might, do a Whitney Houston one of these days. I just ask the
uh,
church folks, nobody kill me when they hear me as they look at Whitney Houston, because it's nice to visit them, you know how we go, but we are family,
yeah, yeah,
support us. All right, we ask for your support.
uh,
Pastor G, effects of pornography in marriage.
uh.
Is it demonic? Let's begin there. Do you think that is demonic?
I think it elevates to there, but I don't think it starts from there. That's my view of it. I mean, ultimately, it gets there where the enemy is now influencing and enticing you and your resources, and you're acting like the actor in the movie, and you're carrying on like the actor in the movie and stuff like that. But the beginning of it comes from the fact of your sinful nature, the sinful desire of you to go and dabble with it. And once you open the door, the enemy begins and to come in and then entice you. Then you go back, and the more you go, the more the enticement come to find into the place that way you become hooked. And now, even though you're trying to quit, you may desire to quit, his influence over you as you keep going back to this thing that you also have to go out and look for great help, you know what I mean, to overcome this addiction, if you would call it that, you know.
Do you think Christians, Pastor G, should look at pornography? Christians, do you think it's a wise thing for Christians to probably use pornography to enhance their own sexual urges and stuff like that?
No, I don't think that. I don't think we need to look to pornography. You know what I mean? Our imagination. God has given us a wonderful thing of the mind. You know what I mean? And if we really understand how powerful our mind is, if you go back into the Old Testament after the flood, you know what I mean? The people built a tower to heaven, and the Lord said that they would do it unless He affected the mind. We are some powerful people, and so we could come up, let me use this term, we could come up with our own fantasies. As long as the wife and I is agreeable, we could come up with our own fantasies, because the marriage bed is honorable, is not the defiled thing, you know what I mean? So we don't need a movie to get us going. No, I don't think, no, we don't need it.
And I'm going to ask a question, Pastor G, and I'm going to ask our listeners as well that they can post what are their thoughts on that issue as well, as it relates to pornography in the marriage. Do you believe that a couple should allow a pole in their own bedroom, and the wife do her thing on the pole, to entice the husband, and should he record it on his device and probably go back and look at it in her absence? How do you see that?
Well, I would say that's in the privacy of their own home. And if it's something that they want to do, you know what I mean? As long as they're extremely cautious. And here's the thing, I wouldn't even put that on a phone. If I was to do that with my wife, I would put it on my phone, because you could be in the phone one day and hit the wrong button and out that thing goes. You know what I mean? Get a camcorder. That's what I would tell them. Get a camcorder. Get a little SD card. Stick the SD card in the camcorder, and you and your wife get as freaky as you want to. Do whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? Listen, as long as it's consent with the husband and wife in their marital bed, it isn't a sin. It isn't a sin. You know what I mean? And they have to see, as long as there's no porn involved, it's you and your wife doing your thing. I would caution them with the recording, because nowadays with your phone, you could hand your phone to somebody, and when they say, "Hey, let me use your phone," and you let them to your password, and they flip this thing, and next thing you know, they're like, "Whoa! Look at Pastor G and Lady G."
So, Pastor, um, do you think it is wrong? Because you see, on this program, we touch topics that everybody is perhaps are afraid of talking about.
Yeah,
But we're
yeah.
looking at it from the confines of marriage, Christian marriage as well. Do you think it is wrong for a man, for example, or even a woman, to have nude pictures of their partner, and in their absence, they look at those nude pictures and masturbate? Do you think that
Now,
is wrong?
I would say yes, because the Bible talks about self gratification. You know what I mean? And that's the word for that. That's really masturbation. In that area, it is. Now, like you say, we've been honest, and me as a pastor, I'm very open and very candid. There are times that my wife has gone away. She go to Arizona. She was born in Arizona, and goes to visit her mom, and I get lonely, you know what I mean, and I miss my wife and everything along the line. And Dr. KJ, I would FaceTime her, you know what I mean, and I would try to have a little phone sex with her. That's between me and
Come
her,
on now.
just in the talking and everything along the line. But then we wouldn't go to the masturbation. She would say, "Boy, go to bed."
But that's a critical thing right there, though, Pastor, because uh, uh, you know, uh, a number of people, even in the church today, are trying to figure out if that is a sin. So your wife is hundreds of miles away from you, and you video call her, whether on FaceTime or on, whatever. And you now begin to, as they say, play with yourself, masturbating, while you're talking to your wife, while she might take off her clothes and you're looking at her breasts and you name it and all of that. Yeah, I'm wondering if that is really a sin. It would be very interesting to hear what our listeners have to say about that, because is that considered pornography? Gotten up from the grave and he's now come back to life from the dead, and I'm sitting there all by myself. I'm feeling lonely. Perhaps the rain might be falling or something. I don't know, right? Is that really a sin? Is that wrong? Is it wrong? Hakeem is saying, what about watching pornography to spice up sexual relationship in the marriage? We're gonna come to that in a bit, Hakeem. Yeah, Pastor, is that really wrong?
No, that's not wrong, and that's not even pornography because that is my wife. You know what I mean? The goal is that I'm not masturbating. I'm showing her. I'm saying, girl, I miss you. You need to come home and get this. You know what I mean? Hurry back
What if
home.
what
Come
if the
on.
person start masturbating? Does that make it wrong at that point? What if
I
they
think
start
that would.
looking
I,
and then
I
they
I
start to
think
masturbate?
I think that's gonna make it wrong because now you're self gratifying yourself. I think that makes it wrong. You know what I mean. But her showing me her breasts and we talking and I'm saying, yeah, girl, I can't wait till you get back here and everything along the line. It is now it can and I just be this. It can have a danger in it because the danger is that hopefully you don't get up out of your bed and go find some lady out there in the street or something along the line. You know what I mean? So we got to be cautious in all of those things. But I don't see it as a sin because that is your wife. You're not doing it with some strange woman along the way. You know what I mean? Just don't record it.
I tell you this, Pastor, there might be spiritual persons who might be more spiritual than you and I, who might think that is absolutely wrong. I shouldn't be looking at my wife body; she's far away, and why would I want to? What am I setting myself up to do? And all of that. But yeah, sometimes you have to prepare yourself, even when she's miles away. You prepare yourselves for what is going to happen when she gets home. That's a way of
Right.
spicing up your relationship. You know,
Yeah.
um, just don't be like a good friend of mine that I know who makes a lot of promises, but when his wife gets there, he's sleeping. You know, he falls asleep.
I don't feel bad. I've made some of those myself. And by the time she come out in the shower and everything along the line, I'm snoring. So I understand that with him because some of the body just says no. But here's the thing: with your wife, man, you got to be creative. Listen, we on an island. I said our house is 4 minutes away from the beach, Dr. KJ. And guess what? Well, we haven't done it in a while, but when it's a full moon and it's all bright outside, I said, come on, girl, let's go to the beach. 12 o'clock
Pastor, what you
at
do at the
night.
beach?
10 to
What you
12
do at the
o'clock at
beach?
night.
What you do there now, sir? What you do at the beach at that time of the night, sir? What
Have
you
sex,
doing
we're
at the
gonna
beach,
have
Pastor?
sex, we're gonna have sex in the water and the full moon on the beach. That's my
Come
wife.
on
You
now,
gotta be
somebody.
creative. You gotta keep the marriage spicy and happy. You know what I mean? Yeah. You
Hold
know.
on, QB. QB. Back cover.
Cutie, I like Cutie. I like Cutie.
No, listen. I believe, Pastor, I believe that relationship must be spicy. And we have to spice up a relationship. We can't expect somebody else to come spice up a relationship.
No, no, you can't expect that. That's my wife. We gotta keep the fire going. All right, we can't. I mean, you know what I mean. I won't even tell you what she telling me today.
No, sir. Don't tell us. Please. Don't tell us.
You know what I mean?
And
You
Hakim is
know.
asking the question, what about watching pornography? And he's talking to the confined, husband and wife, watching pornography to spice up the relationship in the marriage. What do
I,
you say on that, Pastor G?
I would tell Hakeem, you don't need to watch the pornography to spice up the marriage, man. You know what I mean? You have a wonderful mind, you know what I mean? Use your mind, use your imagination. If listen, if your wife, you know what I mean, is sexually active, if she have a healthy sex appetite, guess what? She got her own fantasies. Ask her what she like. Ask her what she likes. You know what I mean? Ask her what it is she wants you to do to her or something along the line. Make your own movie. Make your own movie. You know what I mean? That's the thing. You know
That
what I
can be
mean?
very dangerous. The question that Hakeem asks, both parties watching pornography, because one, that can lead to sin in that
Yeah,
when you're watching it, what are you thinking about? Are you having sex with
right.
your wife and thinking about what you're seeing on the TV or whatever device you're watching that on? You know, is that giving you some sense of false hope? Or maybe causing you to, demean your own self-esteem and your own self-confidence, because maybe you're looking at that porn and that man thing is so big, but you can't measure up to that. What is your wife thinking? Oh, I wonder if, boy, I would love a big thing like that. I would love to feel. And all these kind of stuff begins to goes on in the mind. And then your mind begins to stray and wander, and it goes in places where it are not supposed to go. And what happened? You sin, you begin to sin right there because of your thoughts. So you're there having
Yeah, yeah,
intercourse with your
yeah,
wife, but you're thinking about a
yeah,
white lady on the TV that you don't even know. You know, I see Brother Fitzroy, QB, put back Fitzroy, Brother Fitzroy. Oh, okay, you keeping it real, Pastor G. I didn't see the comment. You're keeping it real.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Fancy really saying I like the pastor.
It got to
You
be.
know,
That's a, marriage is a beautiful marriage is listen. Marriage is God's gift to to us. It's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? And and I tell you, I put it this way: all things are possible in the confines of marriage, man. That's it. That's it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Deidre Campbell is saying, we are the ones that she's referring to the couple. We are the
Mm,
ones that should spice up the marriage. God made us to enjoy each other. And I always say that I cannot
yeah,
agree with that anymore than I am agreeing with it right now. If we don't put the spice in our marriage, who are we? And you think God is going to come down from heaven and put the spice in the marriage? Pastor G, I always tell my wife, God, when you're in the act, I just believe God just look down and smile and say, Kupa, me too picnic them. Look at my children enjoying themselves. Come on, man. You got to drop it like it's hot, brother. Drop it like it's hot. Just flip by your head top if you can possible. Talk about big save, sanctify, and full of the Holy Ghost. And this is why so many people in the church get born.
I, I
We're too
I know that.
boring.
I agree with you because mine would say, oh Jesus, and I would say, my name is not Jesus. I said, my name is John. You talk about, oh Jesus. I said, don't call Jesus here. They said, don't call Jesus. This is me and you. I said, no Jesus here, girl. This is me and you. Okay.
Pastor Kelly. Pastor Kelly said his his wife danced for him last night. Of course.
Amen.
Of
Of
course.
course. That's right. That's right, Tamika. That's right, Tamika. That's right. That's right.
Yes, man.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes,
Mm,
you
mm,
have men who, I've never been to a club, right? I've
mm.
never been to a
Yeah.
club. And I have some friends who recently asked me, I mean, even in your teenage years, you've never gone to a club? I said no. And it's not that I didn't get an opportunity to go to a club, but that was just not
Mm.
me. I grew up in the
Right.
church. I've always been active in the church, involved in the church. And I just didn't believe that clubbing was my style. was my kind of
Right.
thing. And so I never went. And so he said to me, man, and you've never gone to a club and like a strip club and see them strip. I said, well, if you're talking about a strip club, yeah, because if I want to see girls get naked, I just ask my wife to take her clothes off. Just dance from here and strip down. Right? And I'm in
Yeah.
my own club. I'm in my own club. Right? So as we were saying, Pastor G, there are ways that we can spice up our own relationship. We don't need to look outside because God has already blessed us with everything on the inside that we
Yeah.
can make fun of what God has already given unto us. I don't know if there's any Christian who, when they're making love and they're getting to the point of orgasm, that they start to sing Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. I don't think so, right? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
There's
I don't
place
think so
and time
either.
for
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And when it comes on to love making in the marriage, listen, man, just make love. Forget about the work where you must stress you out at work. Just just make love to your spouse. Have a good time, and then two of you lie down and cuddle and listen, God make this thing so beautiful.
Uh, uh, Pastor KJ, Dr. KJ, I always say this, man. You guys, the artists, what I mean. Like you say, you guys need to make some beautiful love songs. What I mean, for anniversaries and for Valentines, and like you talk about singing Whitney Houston. There's no problem, but some people in the church will have problem with that. I mean, to me, there's no problem with that. If it's a beautiful love song, I mean, the wife out, what I mean, and she right there, man, she listen, you just keep playing music because you got two left foot. But what I mean, but if I hold my wife and dancing on the floor and doing everything and all, that's who I'm taking home tonight. You know what I mean? That's who I'm taking home tonight. And that's the thing. We need that to spice up the relationship. Some beautiful love songs. When we sitting around. I was like, girl, let me
Oh
put
yeah.
on this song here that Dr. KJ made. This love song that Dr. KJ made right here. You know what I mean? Let me
I,
put this on
I
tonight.
know
Turn the
I
candles
know
down, turn the light down low.
I know a sister, Pastor G. If
Mm.
her husband tries to play a love song, she tells him how ungodly he is.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. See, that's wrong. That
Now,
you know.
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you this question, Pastor G. In a relationship like that, it,
Mm,
and that has been going on for years, and the man has been trying
mm,
to reach out to this woman as in every way that he can, trying to be faithful, trying to do everything in his power. Sometimes, as it were, have to just bite him
mm,
tongue and him lip and just, try to cope with it. Now, in
mm,
an instance like that, let's say this man goes out and become unfaithful to this
mm.
woman. Do you think the church should really kill him?
No, 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 no. Because sometimes you're like, we doing the pushing. We're doing the pushing away with us over spiritualizing everything. You know what I mean? And sometimes we gotta be careful because here's the thing I always say to people. All right, you know what I mean? If things are not right in your home, don't take it to your job and don't take it to because especially if you're a man and you're complaining, some girl who's attracted to you on the job or someone may hear you and she say, "Come on, let me buy you lunch today, man," and then start talking to you. Next thing you know, things happen. You know what I mean? Don't do that. There need to be a final way. Actually, she's been doing it for years. So from her, it's her perspective is a sin, and that puts him in a dangerous place. You know what I mean? Because if she sees it as a sin from the word of God, it's a sin to her. What does this poor man do? Because this thing is not a sin to him. You know what I mean? And he can't get her to see that. Guess what? It's nothing wrong with it. But if she grew up in the era of church, that guess what? It is a sin and is deeply ingrained in her. He's in some serious trouble. I mean, he can't even dance with his wife.
No, because she's gonna tell him that it is
Yeah,
ungodly and it is of
yeah,
the devil and it is of the world. Um, I don't know, but I just
yeah,
know that some relationship seems to be coming off very boring.
yeah,
Especially when you have a man who was in the streets, and
yeah,
here it is now that this man trying to change his life and going through such a hard time
yeah,
in a relationship, and it happened to some women too because we have some overly
yeah, yeah,
spiritual men But you know what
Yeah.
I always say? I had a case one time, Pastor, where it was in the reverse. The woman was the one who was complaining that the man
Mm.
was overly spiritual and wouldn't do those stuff and you name it. And I told her plain. I said, listen, that man is impotent, so he's trying to find excuse. It's pure excuse he's trying to find because I don't see which man in their right mind when it's time to make love to your wife, you talk about you're going to pray. Let us pray. You pray for what?
I don't know what he's praying for. Maybe he's praying for God to make it work.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
we're
I
not
don't know.
in the story, Pastor G, and I like that, Brother Fitzroy. He shouldn't, and we're not condoning that any at all. By the way, everybody, it is wrong.
Right.
Whether or not his wife is giving problems in that regard, it is wrong. He shouldn't. We're not condoning, but at the same time, let's not kill him. Sister Vivian is saying, "Too holy on earth that they are no heavenly good." Listen, I know a gentleman personally. Every time the woman wants to intercourse, the man say he has to pray first. And by the time he finish, and no short prayer, I'm a praying of the wife, and no short prayer. He's praying for all 1 hour. He's there praying. Say I pray for the vagina. I don't know what you're praying for vagina about in that regard. The woman divorced him though. She divorced him. She said she's had enough, and she divorced him.
And listen. When our body is going through certain things, man, you know what I mean? Go look for the help. Go to the doctor. Go find out what's going. Have a conversation with the wife. You know what I mean? Let me share with you a story. I was walking by the post office and there was a group of old men. These guys was in the 80s and they were talking about sex. You know what I mean? And one gentleman said to the other man, "Man, you ain't seen you ain't seen that in years. I mean, your stuff don't even work." The old man turned to him and said, "You know what? You're right. It don't work, but guess what? My tongue can do magic."
Oh, come on, somebody. Oh, glory. I feel the Lord in this place.
Yeah.
Amen. I feel the Lord, my brother. I feel the
I
Lord.
could do nothing but I
Amen.
could do nothing but laugh, man. And they looked at me and they said, "Youngster, your day coming to you." I said, "Just laughing, just laughing." What the man
What
say? You know what I mean?
what
Yeah.
what they say?
Yeah.
What they say when you can't when when they can't stand up to face it. That's what they say.
Yeah. That's
Uh,
what they say. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, again, that's for me. That is, if whatever a married couple wants to do, one thing I always encourage married couple not to do. The only thing I always counsel people not to do is to enter and exit. That's the only thing.
Right.
Never try
Right.
to
Yeah.
enter and exit. Even if you're entering and exit when you're driving and the police sees you, he'll give you a ticket because that's a wrong way. So you
Yeah.
never enter and exit. And I leave it there. But anything else you want to
Amen.
do in your relationship, it's up to you. If that is what you like, it's up to you. I have a good Christian friend who told me that Christians are not supposed to get freaky. You understand? No, you're not supposed to get freaky. I'm like, okay, but what if the couple that's what they like? Who are we to tell them that this is wrong? You don't know, but when you're a Christian, you put the things of the world, and that is of the world. But the world has sex too. So why are you doing it then? If that is of the world,
Yeah. You know what I would say to couples? I said to if you know that this is the person you are going to marry to, or you're at the stage of now where you have bought her the engagement ring, and true, you can call off the wedding. But I say a big part of your conversation needs to be about sex. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You don't want no honeymoon surprises. You know what I mean? And ask the bold questions. You know what I mean? What is your view on this? What is your view on oral sex? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And what is your view on this? What is your take on this? And everything along the line. And they got to be brutally honest about it. You know what I mean? If you're into oral sex, tell the woman or tell the man. I mean, this. You know, this is what I like. Or maybe say, okay, I never experienced it, but I've had fantasies about it. You know what I mean? Because we can't deny the fact, Dr. KJ, that our mind, we can't lie and say our mind doesn't go there. Okay, I don't think there's nobody on earth that holy and where they don't have some kind of sexual fantasy of what it would be like. And because one of the things that drive us to pornography is the sexual fantasies that we have, the thoughts of sexual fantasy that we have. And we may not carry it out in ourselves physically, but then we go to watch it because it stems from a fantasy place within us. Okay, we want to have sex like this. We want to, you know what I mean. We want to do these acts. You know what I mean. But then we're afraid to talk to the spouse, so we go out and we watch it. Now, if you're your spouse is saying, if you find out if she's freaky and you're freaky, you don't need a pornography tape or to have that on your phone. Man, guess what? You're the great, and guess what? You wouldn't have no lights, no camera, no actions. You do your own lights, your own cameras, your own actions in your own room, and do your own thing. But I think it needs to be talked about. You know what I mean? Before you walk down that aisle and say, "I do." You know what I mean? Because she gonna go complain to somebody, or he gonna go complain to somebody about it.
Pastor G, there are many books out there today that has what we would call pornographic pictures in them.
Mm.
Books that enhances, or show you styles, how you can do it. You have some that are done in cartoon styles, done that some that are real pictures
Yeah.
that you can look. What's the difference between watching the porn movie and looking or having or owning one of those books? Is there a
But,
difference? Is that on a different level or something?
but the books are different than the movie. The movie is actions and moving and everything else. I think the book is trying to be more educational to the fact of different positions that you can do and different, for you and your partner in that particular place. You know what I mean? And so I don't think there's nothing wrong with the books. I don't think there's nothing wrong with the books.
Even if they
You
have
know what I mean?
pornographic pictures in them.
How would you call it pornography pictures? I'm
I
trying
mean,
to
you
picture that in
literally
my mind.
see a man and a woman in the book, the pictures. Because one of the things we have to remember, men, we are turned on by what we see. We just
True.
look at the picture and we're turned on. We're ready. A woman will look at that picture and she's not yet horny. Until you touch her. All right,
Mm.
until you touch her and her emotions get into it, then she may never feel the urge to have sex. But the man, as soon as he opens that book, there goes Lazarus standing ready and ready to fire. So how do
Right.
we deal with that if we are not to watch the porn? Are we supposed to
I,
read the porn?
I would tell the man, if that's if you are lusting over that book, don't open it. Don't open it. Don't open it because it's supposed to be an educational thing. You know what I mean. They got some books that they show positions when a woman trying to get pregnant. You know what I mean, that she can do because they want the semen to flow and everything. You're the doctor, you know that. You know what I mean. If that is turning you on as a man, then don't open the book. Don't open the book because you shouldn't let your mind go there. Okay, looking at that. You know what I mean? To me it would be as this. Okay, the doctors who tend to the lady. I mean, he might see 40 he might see 40 different vaginas for the day. Now, if he is having fantasies about that, then that's the wrong profession for him. You know what I mean? That's the wrong profession for him. Is that you should use the book for what is, because I don't think the book is made for porn, but it's made to help to teach you or to show you different positions that you can use to try to satisfy your wife or to stimulate her a little more or something like that. And that's what you should use the book for only.
That's why the Bible speaks of self control, learning to control
Yeah.
the mind. But
yeah,
there are a lot of men who are weak like that. And so you're saying, if you find that you're that weak, then stay away from the book.
stay away from the
Try to
book.
come up with creative ways to spice your
Yeah,
marriage up.
yeah,
See your wife, let your wife strip for you. Let your wife do crazy stuff for you, so that you don't need to have your mind wandering in other directions,
right, yeah,
because
yeah,
then that leads to other stuff and lead to other stuff, and before you know it, you are hooked, and this is how it becomes
right,
demonic.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
right? It
yeah,
begins
yeah,
in the mind. The enemy,
yeah,
the devil, tried to take over, to have a complete takeover of your mind. And so you become hooked on this thing, which is why when we're going to look at masturbation is something that if you continue doing it, you perhaps don't even have any desire for your wife, because you prefer to masturbate. You have an erection easier doing a masturbation than having intercourse with your wife. And vice versa too. It happened to
yeah.
women too. So, I
Yeah.
mean, we're going to be looking at all of this. Porn hinders emotional intimacy, Pastor John. Porn hinders emotional intimacy. Let's read what the Rena Cole says. Don't exit, no finger licking. God don't make that. From banana get ripe, it just finish. You just kiss and love one another. You get old now, pray and sleep. Okay, I think I understand what she's saying. So she's saying a number of things right there. So she's saying you're not to enter the exit, you're not to eat it. It says you have to just kiss and love one another. You get old, pray and go to sleep. Rena, she based on her age, she might be able to say that. But what about the young ones? What about the young ones? Can you really? Is that really good advice for the young one? Good evening, Mrs. Wade. Is that a good advice for the younger folks who just got married, maybe in their early 20s or late 20s? Can you just tell them, "Oh, just kiss and go to sleep"? You're getting old.
No, no,
Can you
you
really
can't
do
tell
that?
them that. You can't tell them that. You can't. Listen, I, you see, I'm 59 years old. So, like I told you this morning, both me and my wife, we are 59. We are a month apart from each other. You know, my son is 35, 36, and he would call me and he said, Daddy, what you doing? I said, I'm in the bed with your mama. And naturally, guess where his mind goes? Straight to sex. He said, and he keeps saying, Daddy, how much time I tell you you're too old for that? I said, son, all I said, I was in the bed with your mama. I didn't say I was doing nothing. You know what I mean? You know, that's where the young people mind is at. That's where their mind is at. So therefore, we can't tell them just kiss and go to bed and everything is all the light. No, 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 no. That's where they at. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Now, Rena was a more elderly person who
Yeah.
commented earlier. Now, Hakeem is a younger Christian, all right, a
Uh,
younger Christian, and now he's asking, "What about fingering your wife?" So
if
we're
it's in
making
the
a
process
distinction.
of the,
What about fingering your wife?
well, I'm gonna tell you this. If it's in the process of the intimacy, go for it. Go for it. It's your wife in the process. You're trying to stimulate her as much as possible. You know what I mean? And that's the whole thing. I don't see nothing wrong in that. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to. It's like you said, women takes longer to get aroused. You know what I mean? Women you're gonna spend a lot of kissing. You can do a lot of sucking on their breasts and touching them where they want to touch. It takes them longer. Here's the danger. A man can have sex and he can get himself satisfied, finish what he's doing, and his wife have not yet even have an orgasm, and she's unsatisfied. I mean, she don't feel pleasured in all of this thing along the way. You, as a man, you have to make sure that guess what? Well, my rule is this: you gonna get satisfied first, and then I'm gonna have my dinner afterwards. Okay.
You know, you know what they say. The
You got the
ladies
wrong
can't
one
have
here, Dr.
sex
KJ.
somehow
I'm
to
just being
tell you.
real with them. Okay. Okay. I'm just being real with them. Okay. That's my responsibility. I don't want her to be mad. I don't want to suck her teeth or nothing like that. I want her to keep calling Jesus' name. Oh, Jesus. I keep reminding her my name is John, not Jesus. Okay.
Curly G Brown is saying foreplay. So she's responding to Hakeem's question. So I believe she's saying that fingering is a part of foreplay. All right, is
Yeah.
a part of
Yeah.
foreplay. Porn destroys self-esteem. Porn destroys. And when we just started on this topic, Question Brown elaborated a lot on this right here.
Mm.
About destroying your self-esteem. You're looking on, you see a man with a bigger penis than yours. What goes through your mind? What goes through the mind of your wife? You probably see a woman with maybe whatever vagina she has, and you begin, and these things begin to to demean you, and you feel, oh my
Yes,
god,
sir.
look how he's handling the woman, and man, and look how the woman is crying, and why my wife can't cry like this, when after the act he's getting paid. They're getting paid to do what they're doing, and they're putting on a show, and here you are
Yeah.
no wondering how you can get your wife to cry as loud as that, and before you know it, it destroys your marriage.
Yeah.
You have no
Yeah.
marriage left, right? Because here it is that you're trying to be somebody else. You are not being you no more because of what your eyes saw and you stored in your subconscious. And then you're trying to live this thing out in the conscious unconsciously. You don't even realize that this
Mm.
is what you're.
Right.
And so it leads to all kinds of problem, to the point where sometimes your wife is ready and you can't even have an erection. You have to turn
Mm-hmm.
on porn to have an erection. If it gets to that level, something is wrong. You need not only spiritual help, but you need medical help.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's where I say, Dr. KJ, it will become, that's the place it becomes demonic in that area there, because that's your dependency for you to be with your wife, and that's dangerous, and that's really dangerous. And like I said, she's looking at that man, and she might be thinking, "Oh, I wish my husband was like that man. Oh, I wish my husband was hanging like him." You know what I mean? All these things. You listen. You don't want nobody else in your bedroom. You know what I mean? When you're in there, you don't want nobody else, no one else in there with you. None whatsoever. Listen. So let's just get crazy. Even my wife, she say, "Okay, let's turn the TV off." I'm like, "Girl, leave the TV on." You know what I mean? She's like, This is me and you. We ain't no TV. We don't want nobody in the bedroom. Turn the TV off. Throw the phone through the window. Nobody else could be in the bedroom. Nothing. You just want you and your wife in that bedroom alone. You shouldn't have to have anything else to help pleasure you. That woman supposed to pleasure you. When that woman pleasure you or you pleasure her, guess what? Man, let's say you get off work at 5 o'clock. At 10 minutes to five, you ready to go. I want to get home. You know what I mean? That's the way it should be. You know what I mean? No sidetrack, no nothing,
Yeah.
nothing along the line. At least 10 minutes to five, she should be calling you, or you should be calling her. Baby, I'm already on the way home, and I just can't wait for you to get there. And she should be saying, "Man, listen, I am." But it's, okay, drive carefully now, okay? But whoever gets there first, you know, that should be what it should be. You know, in the marriage, that's the way it should be. You know.
Porn can lead to decreased sexual performance. Porn
Yes.
leads to decrease
Mm,
sexual performance. Let me say that again. Porn leads to decreased sexual performance. And
mm.
it also is a gateway to infidelity. It is
Yes.
a gateway to infidelity, because if you not packing like that man is packing in the porn, and your wife begins to desire a package like that, she may go out and try to find a package like that just out of curiosity, wanting to know how it feels. And then
Mm,
she gets hooked, perhaps. She begins to take home all kinds of demons. All right,
Mhm.
because demons are transferred through sexual intercourse. So all
Amen. Yeah.
different kinds of demons begin to come home, be in your bedroom, and you create all kinds of problems for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
well, not to say, Pastor, is a serious matter? Do you think watching porn is engaging a third party in your bedroom?
I think so. I think so. I definitely think so. And sometimes you can be having sex with the woman on the porn, or the woman or your wife could be having sex with the man on the porn, but then you just the physical body that's there. You know what I mean? But her mind is there, and we have to realize sometimes it takes them a week to make that porn. You know what I mean? They might do a 5 minute scene today, a 10 minute scene tomorrow. You know what I mean? And 15 minutes, and it takes them a whole week to make that, and then they go just like a movie. You know what I mean? And they put it together for you, and it looks like it's hours for you. And you get in there, you watch that porn, you're already so excited. You know what I mean? It's already got you so excited that guess what? By the time you go to penetrate your wife,
One
that's it.
minute. 1 minute, sir. Yeah, 1 minute. Less than 1 minute and you're done.
And you're
Yeah.
done.
While
You're
it
done.
took a whole week to make that porn, and you go
Yeah,
now and give your
yeah.
wife 1 minute, and then you
1 minute.
talk about yeah, Mrs. Wade is saying that she believes that she asked the question I asked just a while ago.
Mm,
Isn't that the third person, third
mm.
party, or a third
Yeah,
person? I just asked a question. That's what we're answering,
yeah,
Mrs. Wade. Yeah, right. And so they spend a whole week making that one scene, and you
yeah,
give
yeah,
your wife 1 minute after watching what you were watching, whereas you could have been making your own porn in your room,
yeah,
you and
yeah.
your spouse, and having a good time and allowing the woman to cry cree. You know, you put it on her so much that she start cry cree. You understand? She can't gonna listen on the spice up of the relationship here. Have fun, you hear? Make love and have fun and whatever pleases both of you. God looks down and God smiles on it and says, "Look at my children having such a good time." You think, you know what, Pastor G? There are a lot of
Mm.
elderly people in our church today who they don't teach these things. They try to kill the young
Right.
people. And
Right.
I had to draw one of them up one time when I was pastoring. I had to draw
Mm,
one of them up one time, and I told her, I said, listen, I'm not condoning a lot of stuff. And by no means I am,
mm,
but let's be realistic, and be true to ourselves. I said, how many children you have? And she said she has 9 kids. I said, for
mm,
how many men? How many fathers? And it was 8 fathers. I say, okay, I say
mm,
no more. I will
mm.
say no more. So in those days, they used to go around having children for all these men, but now
Yeah,
the young people come to the church and they're the same one trying to
yeah,
kill these young people and push them out the church instead of doing what the Bible says, that the older ones should be there to counsel with the younger
right.
ones,
Yeah,
help not to
yeah,
make the mistakes they make. But these are the
yeah.
people who are older than everybody else, but they have 9 children with 8 men. What is that telling us?
And that's true. And instead they help them counsel and teach them, you know what I mean, not to make the mistake they do. They look at them funny, they talk about them funny, and they don't know the same struggle that you had. Now here's the thing: if you're a woman and you have 8 children, you have 9 children, eight of them is from different men. That means you was extremely active and you love sex. Now that you're old and you don't love sex anymore, you know what I mean, and you're not crazy about it anymore, don't get holy on people. Don't get holy on people at all, especially with the young people today that have the same struggle that you have. Use your mistakes to help them, to encourage them. Use the word of God, you know what I mean, to be able to teach them so that they don't make the same mistakes that you made. That's what they need. That's what they need to do. As we were talking here, Esther came to my mind, and I visualized Esther, that Esther wanted to get the king's attention. And the Bible said what Esther did. It said that Esther adorned herself. That means sister
Hmm.
girl went and looked and she went and she put on some sexy, something to make her look good. She probably did a little makeup and everything along the line because she told her uncle Mordecai, she says, it's not my time to be with the king or to go before the king. But guess what?
Exactly.
She said, okay, I know how to catch that joker. Now, mind that that's his wife, okay? And she adorns herself and she goes stands in the area where he could see her. Now, he had to either draw out, came out in the balcony, saw her, look at her, and he said, forget the other one. Come on up here, baby Esther. You know what I mean? And that's what a woman should do to her husband to make him say, "Whoa, baby, come on over here, girl. Come on over here, girl." Spice up that marriage, man. Just spice it up.
Listen, Pastor G, we've got to continue this.
Yeah.
The discussion is riveting. The listeners, they're saying they love you. You're real, especially the young ones. And, that's what this program intends to do. We're not coming on here behaving like we're holding on anybody. We keep it real.
Nah, keep it
Sex
real,
is a
man.
big issue in a lot of marriages today. When they just started, it was fiery and hot, but after we get so holy, it becomes a problem and nobody talks about it. And that's exactly what we do. We're going to be closing. Porn is linked to depression, stress, and anxiety, and porn alters the brain. We're going to pick up from there next week. With Pastor John, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your candidness and how much I appreciate you coming on, as busy as you are, to share with us. Thank you so much for the connection with all our friends over there in Trinidad. We thank you. Thank you for being with us, listeners. Please just stay tuned. We have some messages for you. Pastor John, thank you so much, sir. God bless you.
Th- Thank you. God bless you. And we are also carrying you in Nigeria tonight, so you're a Nigeria radio station as well. And so, because the world needs to hear this. The world needs to hear this.
Yes.
I mean, it's
Nigeria, how
real.
you
So
doing? All our
yeah,
families
yeah,
over there in Nigeria.
yeah,
Welcome.
yeah.
Welcome. Next week, we're going to continue. Pastor G, publicly, sir, I'll invite you next week. We're going to be continuing. We'll have Dr. Dunbar next week as well as Dr. John, Dr. Shane Tull, and of course, Pastor Kelly. So we're going to have a full set next week, and we are going to go deep into this, and we're going to lead out of pornography into masturbation. So you don't want to miss it. Come back next week. We're going to have another riveting talk. Mr. Producer, over to you.
Philly, Philly, Philly. It's here again. Dr. KJ presents Embrace the Promise, the second chapter, on Saturday, April 16, 2022 at 7 p.m. at the Bryn Mawr Church of God, 2227 Bryn Mawr Avenue, Philadelphia. Featuring Andre Revelation, Sister Pat,
Rock my soul.
Golda McFarlane,
Something sweeter. You better
Alex Souls, Prodigal Son, and Dr. KJ himself. MCs Pastor Kelly and Lady G. Get your tickets now at www.drkj.org. For more information, contact 1730-873-7625 or email dr.kjinfo@gmail.com. Admission $30. Refreshments on sale. See you there.
Climbing up the narrow way. Again. Indeed. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining with us this evening. This has been another riveting relationship talk, sexual matters. Come back next week. We're going to be continuing on the topic. Want to say good evening to Sister Pat. I see her on my line. Sister Pat, I'll give you a call in a little bit, my sister. All right. So until next week, folks, walk good. And do remember, make some good love to your spouses and let them climb